This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
You know that girl on TikTok who's like, she's a fitness influencer and she's like, next exercise. Yeah, probably none of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's pretty good. All right, so I am a fraud. I'm a fraud. The thing is, a lot of other photographers are too, okay? And here's the thing. I look at other photographers' photos, especially ones that I look up to, and I look at this picture of this perfect scene, lit perfectly, like crazy weather conditions, this perfectly symmetrical shot, this winding road or whatever it is, and I'm thinking, how in the bananas do they get, I wanted to say something else that wasn't bananas, but then I thought that probably wasn't appropriate. How did they find that? How were they just there at that exact moment? And how did they even find this location in the first place? How is it that perfect? You know what I mean? And if you've ever looked at my photos and thought that, I'm flattered, but just so you know, I still think the same thing about other people's photos. And here's the thing, they're photoshopping a lot of it. I know that photographers are photoshopping little elements here and there, and that's the thing, like the art of photography has changed. It used to be very much about getting the settings exactly right, getting that moment exactly right, and the photo is what the photo is and that's done. I mean, that was essentially film. But now it's become a bit of a different art form. You can combine it with the art of digital media and graphic design and tweak it and edit it and adjust the colors and make this photo from, yes, it's a real place and a real moment, but you can like emphasize all these little elements and manipulate it to make it this incredible piece of artwork. And that's, I think, what has made me a fraud, because now I participate in that. And I don't know if I'm sorry about it because it looks so good. It makes my photos look so much better, okay? And here's what I'm doing. I'm not doing a lot. Well, that's debatable. I'm doing just enough to perfect the photo. So I feel like I'm taking a photo, it's a great photo, it would still be considered a great photo, but I'm just manipulating all of these little things to make it what I would call perfect. And that means I'm removing distracting elements, I'm making things a little bit neater, a little more symmetrical, maybe I'm adding some clouds, maybe I'm adding some stars to a night sky that otherwise weren't visible. You know, I'm just elevating. That's what we're doing. We're elevating a photo. Okay? What I wanted to share with you guys today is how I do that, because I've never considered myself to be an incredible Photoshopper, okay? That is not what I would advertise. I learned to do a certain amount of things and then I repeat those things. Like, I like taking photos, I love Lightroom, big fan of Lightroom. Lightroom is my jam, but never big into the Photoshop thing because it's hard and it's time consuming and I have to pump out so many photos all the time. I have to do so much editing. Guess what has made this now possible for me but the beauty of AI and generative fill, my friends. So this is not a generative fill tutorial because I'm assuming by now you have heard of this. It's been beaten into the ground, but what I really want to focus on is how I'm using it, what my method is in using this for my photos, like what my vision is, the certain elements that I'm removing and then trying to enhance, so that you get a sense of kind of what I'm thinking in terms of crafting this perfect photo and what I'm trying to enhance. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're gonna jump onto my laptop here and I'm gonna show you a couple things that I did to a recent photo just to give you an idea of how I've been using this in my photography so far, because I've been using this a ton on some of my photos for my recent trip to Andalusia in Spain, and there's gonna be some content coming from that trip as well. If you haven't seen me posting on Instagram, by the way, follow me on Instagram at @LizziePeirce, and let's get into it. You enjoying this video? Cool. Couple things I'm gonna ask you to do then. 1, maybe subscribe to my channel. 2, listen to me talk about Squarespace for a minute. Thanks. I used Squarespace to make my website. I legitimately did, even before they paid me to do this ad. The template I chose was clean and stylish, and I literally built it myself. I really struggle with design, but Squarespace made it super easy for me to showcase my portfolio beautifully. The platform is super easy for me to customize, update regularly, and I can get analytics about the purchases made on my digital products through my online store. And I run my own business, so I don't have time to learn a whole new platform. All right, so head over to Squarespace for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, you can use this code right here to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks, Squarespace. Now back to the video. When I framed this shot, I did not think about having to show you that I was on my laptop, so we're just gonna use my knee and do this. Great, all right. This is a photo I took in Andalusia, Spain. I like it a lot. It's taken from a drone. It's actually several photos stitched together. That's why at the bottom here, you get a little bit of distortion with the way the road is like leading towards you. I've edited it, I've colored it. I'm happy with where it's at, but there's a couple elements that I think are a little distracting. So we're gonna edit in Photoshop. Here we are. You can either use the rectangular marquee tool or you can use the lasso tool, and then you're gonna section off whatever area you want to adjust. What I think is distracting about this image is the fact that there are these extra houses over here, and then there's a couple extra houses down here. Let's get rid of these extra houses in the corner there. So once you make that selection, you'll see the option for generative fill. And you actually don't even need to type in anything. You don't have to type remove. If you leave it blank, you saw the little pop-up, it'll give you options that are best based on the surroundings of the image. It kind of already senses that most likely you want to remove what's there. So just hit generate or enter. And up here, you're gonna get a couple different variations of what you could put in there. So it did think, okay, maybe you want a house. I don't even know what that is. Why don't we just add like forest? It was getting a good idea of what we wanted, but it's not great. I want to add more trees. It's a little bit of trial and error. That's not so bad, but usually what I do is sometimes I'll just make another selection and it'll generative fill based on what's there. So it's kind of like, okay, you got halfway there. Now let's take it the full way to what I actually wanted it to be. There we go. That's better, but I don't like this weird road thing. I don't know if anyone else does this, but this is the way I've been using it. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now I want to target this area and start removing these houses. I like that already. Let's do this building. That looks good. Last but not least, this section. Great. And then another couple of distracting elements I'd like to get rid of are this house right there. I mean, if you really wanted, you could go ahead and remove those buildings at the top of the hill as well. So that's what I did to that photo, and as you can see, it's now just a lot more symmetrical. You're not distracted by the few houses that were in the bottom left side or the top right. You now have that very streamlined view going directly into the town. And is it correct to what the town actually looks like? No, but this is my photo, people, and that's the way I like it. So there's one more example I'm gonna show you guys here because I thought this was pretty cool. Again, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just doing a few little subtle changes that I think really emphasize a photo. So this photo here, I'm really, really proud of. It's of a mine. If you zoom in, you can see there's actually little cars and trucks driving around, which is pretty cool. I'm really happy with how this turned out. However, I really like the way the top of the image looks and how intricate it is and the colors more than the bottom. I think the bottom's pretty boring. There aren't any cars in it, or trucks, sorry. I think these two roads, it's not as exciting as the top half of the image. So I wanna see what generative fill can do, just to emphasize it a little bit more. And also when you're done with the image in Photoshop, you can hit Command S and save, and it will apply those changes back into Lightroom. So you still have that photo in Lightroom to be able to view and make a few little adjustments too. All right, so here we've got our image. I'm just gonna use the rectangular marquee tool just to change things up. I'm not even gonna write in anything because I just want different options. You know, I just wanna see what AI can give me based on the information in the rest of the image, something that is hopefully a little more exciting than what it is right now, just to make the photo perfect. Already, is that not so much cooler? Okay, let's see what options it gave us. Here's the other one. I don't like that. I don't know what swirly things happening in the bottom there. That's also cool, but doesn't have as many lines. Just for science, let's do it again. I wonder what AI thinks this image is. That's kind of cool. That's also kind of cool, but I want more roads. It's not really giving, other than that one, which is a really weird road, it's not really giving me anymore. So far I like this one. So I'm gonna make another selection lower, and let's see if what it gives me there, if it'll give me any more roads or lines. That's cool, but not a road. What if I select it like this? It is picking up the color in the rest of the image, which I like a lot. Okay, that's not what I wanted at all. We're just gonna throw those away. If I do roads, now we're getting somewhere. That is too much. That is still too much. What if we said 2 roads? And I shit you not, my friends, this is really what I do. I'll show you the one I ended up going with afterwards, but for the sake of this experiment and for showing you how this looks, we're just gonna move on. So the next thing I did was I took the stamp tool. Generative Fill didn't add in any cars. I just grabbed some of the trucks already in the image and I added them to the road. So I wanna take this one, so I just hit Option, stamp my little car. I just kind of randomly place them around where I think they make sense. But yeah, that's the general idea. And then you can hit save, go back into Lightroom, and then here is the final version of the photo I ended up going with what Generative Fill gave me. Pretty cool, right? And again, that's just a little way to emphasize the photo, take what's already there, perfect it a little bit, and make it exactly what you want. Now, everyone knows how I am a fraud and how I manipulate my photos, but guess what? You can join me in the fraud club, and you can too, so. God, I am so sarcastic in these videos. Thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. If you liked it, please give it a like down below, subscribe if you're not already, and hit the notification bell to get notified for all future videos. Happy holidays to all of you, and make sure to check back on Boxing Day because there may be some fun deals for you in my store. Otherwise, I will see you in the new year. Adios.